Hare Krishna. This is Shami Krishidas. Please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all the Vaishnavas. So, we will be reading Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 7, text number 52, 53 and 54. Please accept my humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya evacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. नमा ओम विष्णुपदाय कृष्णा पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी निति नामिने नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य दिष्टारिणे श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. So the text number 52, the sacrifice performed by Daksha. Tasmin brahmanya dvitiye kevale paramatmani brahma rudrocha bhutani bhede nagyo anupashyati. Translation purport by His Divine Grace C.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada, Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. The Lord continued, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent, or he even thinks that the living entities are independent. Purport: the living entities, including Brahma, are not independent, independently separated, but are counted within the marginal potency of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord, being the Super Soul in every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, is directing everyone in the activities of the material modes of nature. No one can act independently of the sanction of the Lord, and therefore, indirectly, no one is different from the Supreme Person. Certainly not Brahma and Rudra, who are incarnations of the material nature's modes of passion and ignorance. Om Agyantimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swa Padantikam. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिय. नमो महावदनाय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नामने गौरतुषे नमः. So this verse, I will give a little bit background that how this is the topic is sacrifice performed by Daksha. So Lord Shiva revised Daksha's life. Lord Shiva, smiling, spoke that his punishment be only for correction, because through his agents they cut off the head of the Daksha. So Lord Shiva fulfills the request of Lord Brahma. Partially, he just says that yes, he will make him alive. So appreciating the words of Lord Shiva, sages go to the sacrificial arena along with Shiva and Brahma and join the goat head to the Daksha's body. And freed of contamination now, he was given the life again. His contamination was gone by chopping off his head. Daksha desires to offer prayers to Shiva, but out of grief of his daughter's death, that I was the cause of my daughter or Lord Shiva's wife Sati, he could not speak. Then, pacifying his mind, Daksha praises Lord Shiva sincerely. He pacified and then he spoke and praises Lord Shiva. So Daksha, he starts the sacrifice and Lord Vishnu arrives there. So Daksha starts the sacrifice with the oblations are offered, and Lord Hari appears when Daksha offers clarified butter with Yajurved mantras. And then the Lord's form has been described, and then different demigods and Gandharvas and so many different people, they offer their prayers as per their capacity by the Lord's mercy. And the demigods offer prayers to Lord Vishnu. The Lord instructs the Daksha. The Lord is pleased and addresses the Daksha. So this is one of the address by the Supreme Lord to Daksha. Only ignorant persons see the demigods as independent or separate from the Lord. So that is Lord is saying that only ignorant people, they see the difference. They are not really, demigods are not independent. Really nobody is independent of the Supreme Lord. Everyone is dependent. There is second offense in chanting the holy name to consider the demigods such as Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be independent of the Supreme Lord. Nobody is independent God. And here we are in the material world, particularly in India, so many Bhagwan are coming and they have no connection with the Supreme Lord. They just become God, they are worshipped by their followers. So much agyan or ignorance is there, so much blind faith is there that people accept anybody if they show some magic, anybody as God. And that's why India is degrading very, very fast by accepting false gurus, false demigods as God, or false people as God themselves. Although they may see them even in the prison, or they are taken care by the law and order, but still people don't understand. Still they think that yes, they are God. It is falsely they have been imprisoned. So that is the status. So only ignorant people, and then so there is a big difference in this demigods and God. God is one. There are several demigods and several human beings or several living beings, you may say the souls. They are all parts and parcel of the Lord. And they are all Jiva souls. Brahma is a Jiva soul. So we will discuss how Brahma is a Jiva soul and what is their position and how they and what is the difference. So they are empowered by the Lord. They are given the position. Demigods are officiating people, or they are directors of the material world to carry on the affairs of the material activity. So they are managers. And the result is not the same that you worship any demigod or any person. The result is not the same. Means people, they say that you worship anybody, ultimately they are all part and parcel of the Lord. So result is the same. Just like the water that falls from the sky and then goes through various sources, like from the rivulets and ponds and that flow and then ultimately go to the ocean. Akashat patitantoyam yatha gacchati sagaram sarvadeva namaskara keshavam prati gacchati. So you offer respect to anybody or even any stone you just paint and worship, and the result is that you are worshipping Krishna because he is a Paramatma. He is there. He is there and he is not there also. But people, they mistake it that yes, he is there, so we are worshipping the Lord. Lord is separate from all this. Lord is we are all the energy and energetic are separate, but also you may say that they are non-different. So there is a tattva of achintya bheda veda. So we'll discuss about that part also. But let us speak about God and God, that singular God, and gods, G-O-D-S, gods. Yanti deva vrata devan, pitran yanti pitravrataha. Bhutani yanti bhuteja, yanti mad yajinopi mam. This is from Srimad Bhagavad Gita 9:25. Who worship demigods will take birth among demigods. Those who worship ancestors, they go to the ancestors. And those who worship ghosts and spirits will take birth among such beings. Means the ghosts and spirits they become. And who worship me will live with me. So only people who worship Krishna goes to Krishna Lok. Not that you worship anybody and they get the same result. So Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He has no equal. There is nobody is superior. Upanishad is saying, Natat samas kyabhidikascha drishyate. That no one is equal or superior to God. Lord Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, Matta parataram nanyat kinchit asti dhananjaya. Mai sarvani bhutani sutre mani ganaiva. That everybody is just like in a thread. So many pearls are strung. And same thing that all this creation is strung on the thread which is Krishna. But thread and the pearls are separate, but he's keeping or holding it together. Krishna is showing his supremacy over all demigods by performing various pastimes. He performs various pastimes with different demigods or his expansions. So we could discuss some of them, like he displayed universal form in which the whole universe was present. Like he showed it to Arjun, his universal form in 11th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, displaying the whole universe within his mouth, when he was a small child. He's lifting Govardhan hill with the small finger of his left hand when he was only 7 years old. He brought the sons of Brahmana from the Mahavishnu, and Dwarka, the Brahmana sons were being stolen by Mahavishnu, so they thought that he is being killed. So children were really taken by Mahavishnu, by his supreme power, because he wanted to see Lord Krishna, meet with Lord Krishna, because he is attracted to Lord Krishna. Lord Krishna is the most attractive, most beautiful, and Mahavishnu wanted to see him. So he thought that let me just steal these children, and then he will come to save them, protect them. Defeating Lord Shiva in battle when he sided with Banasur. Banasur was a devotee of Lord Shiva, and Aniruddha was imprisoned by Banasur. So somehow the Lord Krishna and his whole army, they come and they fight. But Banasur requested Lord Shiva to protect him, and he gave him the words. So he fought on his behalf. And ultimately there is fight between like Shiva Jwar, then Vishnu Jwar, and then Lord Shiva got defeated. And then Lord Krishna starts cutting off all the arms of Banasur. So he cut 998. Then Lord Shiva requested to please protect his disciple, and somehow he protected them, and then he gave his daughter to Aniruddha happily. So that way he defeated Lord Shiva in the battle. So bewildering the first created living being, Brahma was bewildered in Brahma Vivamohan Leela in Srimad Bhagavatam after Aghasur was killed, and Lord was eating like one bhojan, and everybody's eating the remnants of each other. Like they are giving, he ate and then half is giving to other children. And then he thought that I heard that my Supreme Lord has taken birth, but how come he is eating like an ordinary people and he is eating the remnants? He is offered with such an opulence. How come he is eating one which has been dirtied by somebody else's mouth? So he, in this way, he was amazed and he wanted to test the Supreme Lord. And then later on he was bewildered when Lord became all the calves and all the children is there, not only them, but their voice, their shape, their all the decoration, their all the clothing, their all the lakuti and everything that became. He also brought the sons of his Guru Sandipani Muni from Yamaloka. He is giving shelter to the Agni Dev. He consumed the Khandoprastha forest, and then so Agni Dev won because he got indigestion from so much sacrifices, so much ghee was poured, and then he wanted to burn the Khando forest, but Indra would not let him do, because Indra's friend was Takshak Nag, and he wanted to protect him and protect others who were there, but by Krishna and Arjun together they somehow let the Agni Dev burn the Khanda forest. Also he brought his father from the Varun, from demigod Varun, because he took bath thinking that it's morning time, but he went about midnight, and then Nanda Maharaj went up midnight to take bath in Yamuna, and then the agents of Varun Dev, they caught him, the snakes, they caught hold of him and brought him to Varun Dev's presence. Then Lord Krishna goes there, and then he respects Lord Krishna and he pays him obeisances, he circumambulates, he offers arati and so many gifts, and then Lord comes back and also this father of Krishna, Nanda Maharaj, he was looking all this, that my son is worshipped like this. So he like subduing the power of king of God, Indra, when Indra sent his torrents of rains so much that he wanted to devastate the whole Vrindavan and kill all the cows and the gopas. But nonetheless, Krishna protected all of them. So he subdued his pride because he was very proudy. So anyway, so in this way, so many encounters with demigods are there, and Krishna was always respected, and he was adored by the demigods like Lord Shiva, Brahma, Indra, Varun, Yam. Yam Brahma, there is in Srimad Bhagavatam, there is also in verse, Yam Brahma, Varunendra, Rudra, Maruta. स्तुवन्ति दिव्यैस्तवे दैर्षाङ्गपदक्रमोपनिषदैर्गायन्ति यं सामगा ध्यानावस्थितद्गतेन मनसा पश्यन्ति यं योगिनः यशान्तं न विदुः देवाय तस्मै नमः. So he is always praised by exalted personalities, Brahma, Varun, through different mantras and so Krishna never fails in any of his attempts with any of the demigods, simply because he is God. God means the supreme. Even when he ran away from the battle, once after defeating Jarasandha 17 times, he slipped off an important appointment with Rukmini. So in this way, so this is not a defeat that he ran away, he is called Ranchod, but a display of his love for his devotees. The proof is that he later defeated Jarasandha very easily. So there is no one who is equal to or superior to Lord Sri Krishna, who is the supreme personality of Godhead. And God is not bound by any work. Like everybody, even the President of United States is considered to be the supreme man in the country, but there is some disturbance and then he has to call the meeting and how to deal with the meeting. So it is, he is duty bound. So once, like Prabhupada is giving, that God has no obligation or he has no duty. It is just his energies, they work so perfectly that he has nothing to do. He just plays with his devotees. So once, an European gentleman, he came to Calcutta and he visited so many various temples. And he noted that in the temples like Goddess Kali, the deities were of ferocious form, was a chopper in her hand, cutting the heads of demons and wearing those as garland. And in different temples, Saraswati, the goddess of the learning, with the Vedas in her hand, she is reading the Vedas. And temple of Lord Shiva, he found that he has a trident, and with the trident has drums tied. So he is ready for Tandava Nritya. Tandava Nritya, that is the dance he performs before the cosmic dissolution. So in every temple, some deity had something or another. So they were all engaged. But when he went to Radha Krishna temple, he felt that he achieved the goal of his long journey. And he said with satisfaction to his friend that I find that in this temple there is real God. When asked how he concluded this, so he said in every temple he saw that the deity was doing something, but here I see that God is simply playing a flute and enjoying himself as he has nothing to do. He obviously must be God. This is very intelligent conclusion. That is the Vedic conclusion, that God is the supreme. He has nothing to do. He has no obligation, no duties. God is always God. It's not that God is sometime God or anybody could become God. So there is a bogus philosophy that the Guru is God and the disciple also will very soon become God if he practices some sadhana. So this is what is going on nowadays. If he practices sadhana sincerely by accepting Guru to be God. Thus the blind master along with the blind disciple with the false hope of becoming God all fall in the blind well of ignorance leading to hell. Most foolish hope that these people maintain is that by meditation and austerity one can become God. God is always God. God never has to meditate to become God. So it is becoming like a very much fashion for the people to claim that they are becoming God by meditation. They say that God meditates and by his meditation he becomes God. This is all nonsense philosophy. God is always God and he will always be God. He will, even as an infant in the lap of Mother Krishna, in the lap of his mother, Krishna is God. When he killed Putna, he was hardly 6 days old, but he was God. Even as a child, he showed the whole universe in his mouth. So there was no meditation or austerity or penance was required for him to become God. Krishna is playing with his cowherd boyfriends. He is God when he sucked the forest fire in a moment and lifted Gordon Hill with his tiny left hand finger. So God is always, nobody can become God. But people think that just by doing certain austerities, certain meditation, they could become God. When he is dancing, he is God. When he is fighting, he is God in Kurukshetra. He showed in Kurukshetra his Vishwarup, darshan to, which is beyond the measure. He showed it to Arjun. While he is married to his queens, he is God. And while he is speaking, he is God. He speaks such words as of wisdom like Bhagavad Gita that will be read, heard and sung for all the time to come. That is the meaning of Krishna being God. So only envious class of people, they deride Sri Krishna, avajananti mamuda, manushim tanum ashritam, param bhavam ajananto, mama bhutam aishwaram. When he comes in the form of human form, and that is his real form, human form, he made, the man is made in the image of God. Means we are made similar, so we could come closer to him. Because only the human being could reach to God or understand God. Not even the demigods, what to say about the lower species, because demigods are all busy in their enjoying their fruits of their result of their hard work, their tapasya, they enjoy there, so they cannot do, they have really no time to think of Krishna or serve Krishna, or, because they are in so much opulence. And same thing is people in the material world, if they are in so much opulence, they are so busy in handling their money and their businesses, they hardly have any time to think of Krishna, to chant properly, or to meditate on Krishna, or serve Krishna very sincerely by the heart. So people who are less intelligent, they deride, that fools, they deride Krishna when he descends in the human form, and they do not know Krishna's transcendental nature. He is the supreme Lord of all that be. Mama bhuta maheshwaram, param bhavam ajananto. So can God be captured? Like Duryodhana once thought that I could capture the Lord when he came for peacemaking in Hastinapur. So Duryodhana thought that let me capture him. But then Krishna showed his partial universal form, and means he had all his military men going from all around with their tridents and spears, this bhala, so many different things like arrows and different weapons. But then Krishna showed his form, and everybody just they ran away, because in his form all the Kauravas and Pandavas, they are dashing like anything into his mouth, and so much fire was coming, and so many demigods were there, and so these all the kings, they could not capture the Supreme Lord. And that way, so Duryodhana, although Lord was told, but Lord was not afraid. So there is God and there is demigod. They are different. So they are all demigods? People may ask this question, that are all demigods, they are different forms of God? So gods are demigods of this material world. So less intelligent think that they are not different forms of God. They are subordinate to the God. They are not different forms. So they think that they are all various forms of the Supreme Lord. Demigods are not different forms of the God, but they are gods, different parts and parcel. God is one, and the parts and parcels are many. The Vedas say, Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Va Bahuda Nija, means that one, Eko Nityo Nityanam Chetanas Chetananam Eko Va Bahuda Kaman, like he fulfills the desires of everyone from time immemorial, but Krishna is one. Nitya Nityanam. He is Nitya, and then there are so many are also Nitya, eternal. We are all eternal parts and parcel. But one is feeding or taking care of everybody else. Not that everybody else is taking care of God, but God is independent. He does not require anybody. He wants only love, and out of love, He created, just for reciprocation of love, He created so many living beings. And so we have a certain independence, and by misuse of the independence, we are imprisoned into this material world. But if we serve Him as parts and parcel, like the hand has to serve the stomach or put the food in the stomach, or we have to water the root, in the same way, if we water the root, cause of all causes, sarva karana karanam, Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karanam. He is the cause of everything. So if we just serve Him, then naturally we will also become happy. If we make Krishna happy, we become happy. Not that Krishna is morose or he is required, but it is out of affection one has to serve the Lord. That is the duty. Jivera Swarup Krishna Nityadas. So demigods are not just different forms of the God, but they are all servants of the Lord Vishnu. Anyone who thinks that gods and demigods are on the same level is called an atheist or Pashandi. The great demigod like Brahma, Shiva cannot be compared to the Supreme Lord. In fact, the lotus feet of the Lord are honored by powerful demigods like Lord Shiva and Brahma. Shiva Viranchi Nutam. Rigved, and it is also said, Om Tat Vishnu Paramam Padam Sada Pashyanti Surya. The lotus feet of the Lord Vishnu are the supreme objects of all the demigods. And so in this way, all the demigods like Brahma, Varun, Rudra, Marutas, they glorify Krishna with choices, poetry that they have done even in this fire sacrifice by Daksha. Is worship of any god means of our choice is all right? No, that is not all right. So people, they already taught, as I told this verse, Akashat Patitam Toyam, that is not correct. People may give any example, but any verses or any creation does not mean that Krishna, that I worship anybody and it goes to Krishna. It does not go to Krishna. Yanti Deva Param Deva Vratan Devan, that we discuss, that if you worship demigods, you go to demigod planet. Result is not the same. So it's not that I worship anybody is always the same. So it also makes us that there is these three devas that they maintain. They are all part. They are doing their duty because they are empowered by the Supreme Lord. So all the paths, they do not lead to the same goal. So there is one will ultimately reach the same goal by doing anything or worshipping anyone. That is not there. This is not from any authentic scripture. One has to follow Sadhu, Shastra, Guru. That has to be so Sadhu, Guru, Shastra, they all have to be in the same page that Shastra should say. So there is names of all the who will incarnate. Suppose somebody, there is Samsa Tattva, there is incarnation. So that is already been described. Who is partial incarnation or who is Shaktavashesh avatar, like we call Srila Prabhupada. We just had his Vyas Puja. So he is a Shaktavashesh avatar of the Lord, because nobody has done like what he has done in the past, and nobody would be able to do in future. Like Lord Krishna comes in day of Brahma. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also comes just after Krishna comes personally in that same Manvantar. This is the 8th Manvantar, Vaivashvat Manvantar. And same thing, personalities like Srila Prabhupada comes in one day of Brahma. They are not there in every millennium. So we are very, very fortunate that we have taken birth time when Srila Prabhupada is just took birth just recently in front of our eyes. And I had a good fortune of seeing him, meeting with him maybe 12-15 times. At the same time, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was here about 525 years ago. And also Lord Krishna came 5,000 years ago. So it is not a long period in our eternity. These are short duration. So we should take the advantage of these appearances of this Lord Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Srila Prabhupada, who is teaching about philosophy of what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu gave in a way that we can understand. So he translated the literatures in such a way that we can understand, and he put all the like philosophy of Achintya Veda Bhed Tattva. So we will discuss about that also, that how Srila Prabhupada has put all this in what is this Achintya Bhed and Aved, Veda Bhed Tattva. So Prabhupada is explaining that person who has purchased a ticket for Calcutta, they could reach Calcutta but they cannot reach Bombay. So spiritual masters say that any path, so many bogus spiritual that take to the same supreme goal. So it is not the same, it is completely different. So we should understand the position of the God, his expansion and the living entities. So there is a Jiva Tattva, Shambhu Tattva, Vishnu Tattva. So Jiva Tattva, Brahma is also one of the living entity. Brahma is a post. Just like a Prime Minister is a post. Prime Minister of India is a post. Brahma lives for a very long time. He lives for 311 trillion and 40 billion years. But that does not make him God. Shambhu, you may say that Shambhu cannot be called a Jiva. He is superior to Jivas. But he is not Krishna also, because once he is turned, like a milk is turned into yogurt, yogurt cannot become milk. Like yogurt or Lord Shiva cannot become Krishna, although he is an expansion of Krishna. So that's why in Brahma Samhita it is described, Shiram yathadadi vikar vishesha yogat sanjayate hi natata pratagasti hetoho yasham bhutam apitatasa upaiti karyat govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. Yes, milk is transferred into curd by the action of acids, and just for clear that how acid turns the milk, and then this Rajhansa, Hansa, Nirashira Vivek, that how they take only the milk and leave behind the water. So these Hansas, they have a very strong acid in their saliva. So when they drink the milk, the acid comes immediately. And then when the acid comes, so it is curdled. And they take the Hansa, takes the curdle, and then it spits the water, which is not curd. So that's why there is a near Shir Vivek. People may be amazing that how he drinks only the milk and not the water. But there is water in the milk, and he separates curd from the water by the strong acid. And same thing, Lord Shiva is a transformation of milk like Krishna into yogurt. But yogurt cannot be brought back into milk. But the effect of curd is not the same, or it is not different from the milk. So that way there is a adoration. I adore the primeval Lord Govinda, of whom the state of Lord Shiva or Shambhu is a transformation for the performance of the work of destruction. He created him. And then there is a Vishnu Tattva, that is, they are Swamsa Tattva. He himself expands for his activity. Deeparchireva dashantar mabhyupetya deepayate vivratahetu samana dharma yastadragave cha Vishnu taya vibhati govindam adi purusham tamaham bhajami. So when the flame of one candle, Prabhupada explains, is expanded to another candle and placed in different position, it burns separately and its illumination is as powerful as the original candle. So the Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda expands himself in different forms as Vishnu, who are equally luminous, powerful, opulent. But let me worship that Supreme Personality of Godhead Govinda, who is the original cause of light in all others. So there is there is Vishnu Tattva, there is a Shambhu Tattva, there is also Shakti Tattva. Shakti, that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead Vasudev, and Rukmini is the like Mahalakshmi, Rukmini, Srimati Radharani. They are all. So like Krishna expands on one side into Chaturvyu or Balram, Sankarshan, Pradyumna, Niruddha. Same thing that Radharani expands into so many Lakshmis, into so many queens. So she expands into queens. Like Satyabhama is an expansion of Srimati Radharani. Chandravali expands into Rukmini ji. So in this way there are, and then they expand again into so many Lakshmis. So Lakshmi Sahasra Sata Sambrahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamam Vajami. Thousands of Lakshmis want to serve Krishna because it's so attractive. Although they are with Lakshmi ji or with Narayana or with Vishnu, but they want to serve because Krishna is the original Narayan, original Vishnu. The origin of Vishnu or Narayan is Krishna. So there is nothing wrong in his worshipping or accepting his lotus feet or want to come in the Ras dance. But because of his so much opulent, she cannot give up her opulent mentality. So she cannot enter into the Ras dance. So in the Brahma Savita, there is a statement, Srasti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chavev Yasha Bhonani Vivarti Durga. The Maya Shakti Durga is in charge of the Srasti, Sthiti and Pralaya, creation, dissolution, and the acts under the direction. But she acts under the direction of the Supreme Lord. Like there is a picture that Jiva soul are tied by so many ropes, thread. Those threads are Satogun, Rajogun, Tamogun, these gunas, and then the Durga is making us dance. But Durga acts under the direction of Krishna. She cannot act independently. So she is like a superintendent of the prison house. Material world is a prison house. We are all tied by the ropes, and then somehow the one who is dancing, like we are dancing in the material world, we think I am dancing by my own power. But we are dancing, we are the puppets in the hands of Durga, and Durga is a puppet in the hand of Krishna. Krishna orders Durga. In every universe there is Durga, and she makes us dance. Prakate kriyamani guni karmani sarvasha ahankara vimudatma kartamiti manyate. That Prakriti is doing everything. Nature. Nature, whose nature? And nature, the adhistatri of this material world, is Durga. So she is making us dance. But out of ahankar, false pride, we think that we are dancing ourselves, or we are the creator, or we are, everything happens because of our work. But everything happens because of Supreme Lord Krishna. Although he does not have to do in himself anything, but it is by his energy. So Lord Krishna, many times he delivers Lord Shiva, or whenever there is a disturbance like by Varakasur. So we discussed about Trayadhish, about how this Krishna expands into Brahma, Vishnu and Shiva, and I will speak little bit about those. Trayadhish, he is Brahma, Vishnu, Hara, Ei, Srastyadi, Ishwar. Tini Agyakari, Krishna, Teen Adishwar. They are Agyakari, they follow the command of the Lord, and the Krishna is the Adishwar of three. Trayadhishwar. Trayadhish means he is Adishwar, he is in charge of all the three Ishwaras. We think that there is this whole material world is under the direction of Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. They are the Supreme Lord. No, but beyond that, how they work? They don't work independently. They work under the direction of Krishna. So that is Trayadhish. These are called Gunavatar. Brahma is in charge of mode of passion, and Shiva is in charge of mode of ignorance, and Lord Vishnu is maintaining, he is in charge of mode of goodness. So also there is three, we say, but also there is Purushavatar. Purushavatar are, there is Karnodaksha Vishnu, from whom this Karnodaksha Vishnu is an expansion from Sankarshan. There is Chaturvyu, second Chaturvyu, that form Chaturvyu, that Sankarshan from second Chaturvyu, that creates all the material world. The first Chaturvyu creates the whole spiritual world. So this Sankarshan expands into Karnodaksha Vishnu. They are all Purushavatars. He is whole so many universes. He is the Samasti Brahmand ka Ishwar, or you may say Antaryami. Samasti and Vyasti. Samasti is all together. So all the Brahmanda, the Antaryami or Paramatma, Paramatma is Antaryami. So he is the, of all, every universe is there. Garbhodaksha Vishnu, he is Antaryami. Vyasti Brahmanda, there is an independent Vyasti. Vyasti means independently singular. Samasti is plural for so many. So he is the Antaryami or Ishwar of one universe. And Shirodaksha Vishnu is Antaryami of all the jivas. He is in so many jivas, but he is his Vyasti Jiva, Vyasti Brahmanda. Vyasti Brahmanda is in charge, is Garbhodaksha Vishnu. And Samasti Brahmanda, the Antaryami or Ishwar, is Mahavishnu. And Mahavishnu is just a part and parcel of Krishna. In Brahma Samhita, that's why Mahavishnu is also called Karanavashari Vishnu, because he is the cause of all the universes and all the Jiva soul. And Garbhodaksha Vishnu is also called Padmanav, because from him, from his Nabhi, or umbilicus, there is a nal that comes, there is a stem that comes, and on top of that there is a lotus flower. So lotus flower comes from Padmanav. His Nabhi is like a lotus, and lotus stem that comes, and then there is a Brahma, so he is the cause of Brahma. So yeah, like in Brahma Samhita, there is Yashvaik Vanishva Shidakalam Athavalambya Jivanti Loma Vilaja Jagdandanatha Vishnur Mahan Saya Yasya Kala Vishwasho Govindam Adipurushan Tamam Bhajami. Vishnu is one of the Kala, just like sun, and there are so many rays, and in the rays there are so many particles. So the particles is like a Jiva soul. The rays are like the Krishna's expansion into so many incarnation, or avatar. Avatar means they come down and they have a place in the spiritual world, spiritual kingdom. So Vishnu is a Kala Vishesh. Yes, Nishad Kala Matha. Vishnu Mahansesha Kala Vishesho. So that is the second part of Triyadhishwara. First is like there is a Gunavatar, then there is Purushavatar, so we describe that there are three kinds of Purushavatar. There is also another that there is a, what we discussed, that there is a Krishna Lok, where there is that is called Antapur. Antapur, where there is a Krishna and his parents and his kantas, his wives, his children. So they do all the Leelaras. So that is called Antapur. Another is Vishnu Lokar, Paravyom. So there is different, which is full of Sadeshwarya Sampanna, all this, that is all the Vaikuntha Loka. And third is Devi Dham, or Maik Brahmanda, that is his Bahiranga Shakti. So Antapur is Krishna's Krishna Lok. There is a Paravyom, or Vaikuntha Lok, or Vishnu Lok, that is Madhyam Avas. Antapur, Madhyam Avas, or Devi Dham, or Maik Brahmanda, that is called outer, Bahyavas. So we are living in the Bahyavas of Krishna. It is still his place. It is under the Devi. So there is a Devi Dham, that is where we are. There is a Shiva Loka, and then there is a Vishnu Loka or Krishna Loka. So topmost of all the Vaikuntha is also called, the topmost part is Krishna Lok. But Krishna Lok is also divided into other parts. So like if you see that there is also Krishna Lok is divided into Vrindavan or Gokul, there is also Mathura, and there is Dwarka. So Tardeshwar is Ishwar of all these different kinds. So Tardeshwar is defined in different ways, that also is Ishwar of everybody. He is the topmost. And then we are all his subordinate, and we are meant to serve Krishna. So I will take another verse. I tried to explain this verse number 52. The Lord continued, the Lord is just saying, one who is not in proper knowledge thinks that demigods like Brahma and Shiva are independent. Nobody is independent of Krishna. Or he even thinks that the living entities are also independent. They could become God. But that is not correct, as we described in all these things. The text number 53. Okay. Yatha Pomanna Swangeshu Sira Pandyadishu Kvachit Parakya Buddhim Kurute Evam Bhuteshu Matpara. A person with average intelligence does not think that the head and other parts of the body to be separate. Similarly, means they think it is all one body, but there is a separation. My devotees does not differentiate Vishnu, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, from anything or any living entity. So purport, ultimately, Shakti, Shaktivad, there is difference and non-difference. Achintya Bheda Bhed. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the originator of this. How it is, and it's a big topic. So maybe some other time we will discuss about what is Achintya. Achintya means inconceivable. Bheda means separation, and Abhed, that there is no separation. It is all one. So how it is Bhed and Abhed simultaneously? Why it is not one or another? Why there is a confusion? Bhed and Abhed. Either Bhed or Abhed. Why both are needed? But both are needed, and we will talk on a separate class. But in purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing, whenever there is a disease in any part of the body, the whole body takes care of the ailing part. Like if you have a soreness anywhere, then whole body responds to it. Whole body come together to try to solve that problem. Similarly, devotee's oneness is manifested in his compassion for all conditioned souls, because he is very compassionate, and when something wrong happens, like Prabhupada saw the people suffering like anything, and he became very, very compassionate. That's the greatest quality of Srila Prabhupada, that he, karunaya, daya, his heart was feeling with so much pain, he was suffering. Paradukha dukhi. Vaishnava, when he sees the suffering of any living being, he tries to serve them so they don't become, they are not suffering. So that is the quality of a devotee. So a devotee's oneness is manifested in his compassion for all the conditioned souls. Those who are learned are see everyone's conditional life equally. Devotees, Pandita Samadarshina, Vidya Vinaya Sampanne, Brahmane, Gavihastini, Suni Chaiva, Swapakecha, Pandita Samadarshina. That Pandita, they see that although, because they see that there is a super soul or Paramatma and there is a Atma in everybody, whether it is an ant, so they are compassionate to everybody. They don't see, oh, he's just a kida or just a worm, let me just crush him, let me walk and let him die. What difference it makes? No, but it makes a difference. You have to become a worm in the next life and he will step on you and kill you. So why to go through this repeated cycle like this? And so we are perpetuating our life in the material world, but rather we are meant to serve the Lord. So those who are learned see everyone's conditional life equally. So devotees are compassionate to every conditioned soul, and therefore they are known as aparakya buddhi, because devotees are learned and know that every living entity is part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. They preach Krishna consciousness to everyone so that everyone may be happy. If a particular part of the body is diseased, the whole attention of the body goes to that part. Similarly, devotees care for any person who is forgetful of Krishna, and therefore in material consciousness, so everybody is in material consciousness. The equal vision of the devotee is that he works to get all living entity Pandita Samadarshina. They are equally does not mean that they feed others or they go out of their way and solve their roti, kapda, makan problems, because they will again become, the problem will perpetuate. But if they serve them and make them devotee, then that problem is solved forever, because they will also go to Krishna's abode and serve the Supreme Lord in their original consciousness. We have a contaminated consciousness. So in this way, these verses are very, very important, and this is all Lord is just saying himself what is the difference between his creation, between himself, between all the demigods, how he expands, and how the devotees are they are very, very kind, and compassion is there. So now the third verse that I wanted to speak is Trayanam Eka Bhavanam Yona Pashyati Vaibhidam Sarvabhutatmanam Brahman Shantim Adhigachyati. Everybody is looking for Shanti, but then there is a Shanti formula. Yes, there is also Shanti formula in Bhagavad Gita. 529. The Lord continued, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva or the living entities in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman actually realizes peace, others do not. So in purport, Srila Prabhupada is writing, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva or the living entity in general to be separate from, because they are separate, they are not separate. Separate in the sense that they are his part and parcel, but still they are his energy. So energy and energetic. Energy cannot remain independent. Energy has always to be dependent of the energetic. So it's not that we just worship energy and not worship the Supreme Lord. Just by worshipping energy, we don't really worship Krishna. We have to worship Krishna, and all the energies are automatically served, worshipped, just like putting water in the root or putting the fish back into the water body. So we are separated, and that's why we are suffering, just like a fish who just somehow jumps out of the river and comes to because they see the sandy beach, very, very glittering and very nice. She says, it may be a nice food, let me just stroll in that sand. So she jumps out and just goes away and away, and now she's flopping. She cannot live out of the water. So then if only the way that she could be saved, because she sees glittering more and more ahead. She says there would be happiness little bit if I could go, if I somehow jump. But only when a kind person picks the fish and puts it back into the water. So that same kind person, that we are just going away from Krishna more and more and more, just by seeing the glittering of this material world. Maya Devi is alluring us, come, there would be a bliss, but there is no bliss. Ultimately we will die like a marag marichika. So our duty is to come back to the ocean of Krishna's compassion, and then we will be saved. So some compassionate person like Srila Prabhupada has to be there to put us back into the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord, who is the ocean of mercy. So the Lord continued, one who does not consider Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, the living entity in general to be separate from the Supreme, and who knows Brahman, who knows Krishna and his energies, actually realizes peace, others do not. So the two words are very significant in this verse. Trayanam indicates three, namely Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva and Lord Vishnu. Bhidam means different. They are three and therefore they are separate, but at the same time they are one. This is the philosophy of simultaneous oneness and difference, which is called Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. The example given in the Brahma Samhita is that milk and yogurt are simultaneously one and different. Both are milk, but the yogurt has become changed. In order to achieve real peace, one should see everything and every living entity, including Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva, as non-different from the Supreme Personality of Godhead. But that does not mean that they are Supreme Person. No one is independent. Every one of us is an expansion of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This accounts for the unity and diversity. There are diverse manifestations, but at the same time, they are one, and in Vishnu, everything is an expansion of Lord Vishnu's energy. So, Achintya Bheda Bhed Tattva. Like there is a drop of ocean qualitatively that we are same as Krishna. We are also made, we means the soul is made of Sat, Chit and Ananda Tattva. Krishna is also made, his whole body. But we have this external body which is made of earth, water, fire, air, ether, mind, intelligence, ego, so many different things. So, but Krishna is independent, separate also. He gave the energy, but it's not that he is dependent on that energy. He is energetic, like the president is inside the home, something different activity, and by his energy, whole country is running. But does not mean that by serving policeman or by serving something that the president is served. President needs service directly. So we are direct parts and parcel of the Supreme Lord. So if we serve Krishna, we have tendency to serve, but service should go to the personality of Godhead, whose part we are not independent demigod, like dependent demigods are. So this philosophy is very, very important to understand. Achintya Bheda Bheda. So quality-wise we are the same, but quantity-wise a drop or an anu or atom is not the same as the ocean, or a gold mine, and a little kircha or little atom of the gold, although has the same quality, but not quantity-wise. We could make so many things from a great source of gold. You could make so many different ornaments, but just with the little tiny atom, we cannot do anything. So we are just atomic particles of the Supreme Lord. And by connecting with Him, by serving Him, we also have our importance, like a machine, and it's so many parts are there, so many bolts. A bolt is fallen separate, has no really value. But once it works with the whole machine, then it has a much, much value. Without that, whole machine stops. So we are meant to serve Krishna, and without having our separate existence. We are part of that Supreme Lord. A bolt is a part of that machine. Then it has expansion. A finger cut off has no value. It will rot, but attached, then you would not sell your thumb even for $1 million. But thumb cut off, people would not buy even for a cent. We have to throw it in the garbage. So same thing, we have to attach back to Krishna by our service. Attachment does not mean that physically like we have to sew the thumb back to like by some surgery. It cannot be done like that, but just by the energy and energetic. We are energy of the Lord, and we should serve the Supreme Lord. That is our duty. So if we understand this philosophy of Achintya Bheda Bhed, we may understand who is Krishna, who are we, what is Bhed and Abhed, that we are tiny and He is Vibhu. We are Anu and He is Vibhu. So, thank you so much. I have taken enough time of yours. There may be some question and comments or discussions further. We can go, so you could please unmute. But these are very nice verses, and this is spoken by Krishna directly. Vishnu is there, he is expansion of Krishna, and he is speaking for all of us. Although he is addressing to Daksha and his whole party who are there, but he is addressing to all of us. That is addressing to Arjun, but through Arjun, he made him in confusion, and Arjun is asking and he is responding, but that is for benefit of all of us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Danvat Pranam. Very, very wonderful class as usual. Thank you very much. Prabhuji, you were discussing about how some people want to believe that they are God, and it's the blind guru followers, followers of the blind guru. So, Prabhuji, what is it that really drives them to even accept this concept that they can be God? Because, to me, that is common sense. Like, everybody around has two legs. I have two legs, one mouth, 2 ears. Everybody, same category. So, this whole creation, I cannot create one fruit, one flower, and God has created this. So, is that just delusion, grandiosity, or is it they're just gullible? What is it that drives them to even think that with that much conviction that I can become God, or this person, this human being, two-legged human being is God? Like, can you explain, Prabhuji? Thank you.
Okay, sure. It's a very nice question, and I thank you for asking this question. See, because we are greedy, and we don't want to serve. We want to give up our individuality, or we don't want to really serve. But if we ask you, you wake up early in the morning, take a cold shower, do this, chant 2 hours, and it may be too much difficult. Give up all this sex life and others enjoying what people are enjoying. You give up all this. Don't eat like onion, garlic. Don't drink tea. How many people are there who will take to this seriously? Oh, another person would come. Oh, you don't have to do all these things. You don't have to chant 16 rounds. Just chant 1 round of my name. And he shows, because of his you may say, some opulence, or some way, you may like say anima, mahima, some kind of, that they may have got something, like they come with some bhuti, like sometime say like ashes or some kanku or some red powder or something that comes. So by seeing him some either magical task or his yogic powers or something, he attracts those people who want to have a cheap, at he has a guru and he's so great, and just like people, they just go blindly. One blindly, it is because of the ignorance and cheap adoration and cheap without sacrificing anything, to just come to that level that I am also a devotee. I am serving such and such guru, he is my guru. But he is a false bogus guru. He is not in parampara, he is not a Vaishnava, but still people accept. So blind leading the blind, and then they go to a ditch. Just like the goats, when you have so many goats, and the first goat falls in a ditch, everybody, whoever they're following, they don't see that there is a ditch and this next person has already died, next goat is already on his deathbed. They just follow blindly. So this is the result of ignorance, and Prabhupada gave them the knowledge. Jnananjana om agyan timirandhasya jnananjana shalakaya. By the anjan of jnana, knowledge, proper knowledge, they opened their eyes. We are blinded by the ignorance. So that ignorance has to be removed. We just have a blind faith. There are so many people who, they are very faithful, but it is a blind faith. I see, I just came back from India maybe 10, 12 hours ago, and I see so much blind in this, like Ganesh Chaturthi, millions of people. Anywhere you see, like whether Shiv Dola, in Khargon where I was, there are so much people, whole streets, whole town is filled up with Shiv Dolas, means they have a lot of Shivas, and then so many, but what they do? There is no faith here either. I don't know even about Lord Shiva or Vishnu. They dance and jump. They have so much energy. So youth, they just jump, like in the marriage, they just jump and dance, but they don't want for jump or Krishna. There is not a single time that I have seen that Jagannath Rath Yatra is there, or people are chanting and dancing. They sing some cinema songs, and so many people are there. Now you tell them that you just chant and then dance. They would not do it. So this is the blind faith, ignorance, without our knowledge. The people, they follow so many rules, regulations. But you ask them that don't eat this or only do Ekadashi. No, they will do some Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, any day that they will fast, eat one time. But they would not fast on Ekadashi. So it is our ignorance. We don't want to accept Krishna as the Supreme Lord, but want to accept so many demigods, because they give some benefit to them. They give there and they are given this, and that comes from Krishna. Krishna says that they get from me alone. But he wants his faith fixed because at least he is accepting some authority. So Krishna says that is also good, what can be done. He does not want to come to me. One day he will come. So let him suffer some more longer in the material world, and ultimately he will come. Because the love is there when there is no force. If Krishna forces, we become robots. So do we want to become robots or love voluntarily from inside us? We have to love voluntarily. Like wife and husband, they have voluntary love for each other. There is a sacrifice. But a servant does not have the same thing. Servant is paid. If you don't pay, so there is no love with that. But there is love between a man and woman when they are tied together by the marriage. So that's a crude example just I am giving you. But you can understand that there has to be an independence to love, and we should love independently to Krishna by our service attitude. Love means service. So that has to be there, and we have to understand by knowledge that he is our real reciprocation of love, that we repose our love on Krishna, not on any demigod or any material person. What would happen? That we will just fall with him. So unless we understand, so the teaching of Bhagavad Gita, that's why Prabhupada wants to distribute so many Bhagavad Gita, that give at least, let them keep. Maybe one day would come, they will start reading. Give this knowledge. Varad Mradanga. Varad Mradanga is like, not just so book distribution is Varad Mradanga. Mradanga could be heard maybe in 1, 2 block, 5 block, but by book distribution, Prabhupada made millions of devotees by book distribution. If you have money, print books. That's what Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj used to say. So people don't know the difference. They just think everything is all the same. Because his father has done by parampara. What is this parampara? They are accepting something which is, Samaj ka niyam, or this, my community is doing all this. So we worship. But why they are doing, what is the purpose? Who are they whom you are worshipping? They would not understand. Kul Devi, wahan jao. But Kul Devi, but what is this Devi? Who is Kul Devi? Why not worship Krishna directly? Kul Devta, Kul Devi, Kul Pratha, Kul... So many things. Our mind has been imprisoned, shackled. Just like in the material world, Maithunagar is there. We are all bound by these 3 ropes, whether it is iron rope or silver rope or gold rope, but rope is rope. So our mind is controlled by this other charismatic people who have neither knowledge nor they practice, because Lord Shiva had drank whole ocean. So their followers, they take afim and ganja and bhang and smoke. You see all the time in Haridwar and Rishikesh. Does they follow really Lord Shiva, who meditates on Sankarshan all the time? They take a cheap thing and they say, I am Shaivite. How they could be Shaivite? So this is going on all over the universe without knowledge. So knowledge has to be distributed. Means there is so much things you could talk why people are falling like this. And even very intelligent, means one who is very degree-dharis, they also fall trap to that. But a simple person with simple heart can be much more elevated than so much PhDs and so many guna and so much big position in the society, but they have no understanding of spirituality, even ABC. What could be said? So it is not, they don't see clearly the difference. They want to enjoy immediately. There is prayers and shreyas. Prayers is immediate enjoyment. They feel good just by dancing, these boys in Shiv Dola, and they give up their that energy. They sweat so much, and there is so much they open so much booths to give them food. So they say, oh, we are eating and we are dancing. It's very nice. But eating and dancing for whom? For what? They will eat anything. Onion, garlic, tea, anything. They will drink wine also. They do any kind of nonsense. Whatever pleases them immediately, they will do it. But prayers that you worship Krishna and the result would come after this life or after 50 years. Who will wait for 50 years? So that's why this worship of demigod is so popular. And any human being is popular. Because he gives them immediately, he confirms, okay, whatever you are doing is fine. Do it. No discrimination. Bhagwan, the Rajneesh and so many Bhagwan have happened. But why? Because they allow them freely mixing. And we allow that there should be separation. So that's why it is all these things, nonsense things are happening on the name of religion. So there is a lot of, so I hope that this clarifies your question.
Yes, Prabhuji, to a great extent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhuji.
Yesterday in the Holy Land, are you still in Vrindavan or India?
No, I just came about 8 hours, 10 hours ago, last night.
Okay.
So I'm back in US for another month and I have to go back again.
I have a question, Prabhuji. This section of Bhagavatam describes so much and so many purports that Prabhupada so wonderfully bringing his point about this simultaneous oneness and difference between Krishna and his energy and this world and the entities. And still in spirituality so much confusion. Some emphasize the oneness to the complete, to the extreme, and although the difference is very apparent, as you describe the glories of the Lord, we are not describing our glory. So the Lord is unlimitedly glorious, powerful, supremely conscious, in our consciousness. So difference. So what is this? What is the achintya? Could you shed some light? Because anything which can be explained cannot be called achintya. So what is this point achintya which is so?
So Prabhu, as I told you that it is a big topic. Maybe next time when I come, when I am giving the class, we will discuss about this, why it is inconceivable, why there is need for achintya, bhed and abhed. Both are needed. And they are inconceivable at how there is bhed and abhed. Let us talk on some time, because it will take a long period of time. I have not even taken shower because I came late last night, so please forgive me. But we will discuss maybe just even the next time, next Wednesday, if I am given the chance by the devotees, then by their but next Saturday, Sunday, Radhastami is coming on next Sunday. So I will be in Delaware, but not next. I think next. So next Saturday, Sunday. But Wednesday I will speak about Achintya Bheda Ved. Okay, so please forgive me for not answering to your question. It is inconceivable how it could be the same time one and the difference. Why both are needed, and why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is Supreme Lord, he started this philosophy which was not there. Means there is Advaita, Dvaita, Suddhadvaita, Visishtadvaita. So there is how it differentiates from all of that.
Now, the difference we understand, and oneness we understand in some extent. That conscious, we are both conscious. Krishna is conscious, we are conscious. But what is achintya, which cannot be explained?
Achintya is that how it could be simultaneously different in the one. So that is why, just like the differentiation has been explained, if we are part of the Krishna, then together we make Krishna. We are his part. Same one body and separate. How it could be like 1 plus 1 is just 1. Or you take out 1 minus 1 is also 1. How it is possible? So we are not like parts like separated. Like say you have a gold and you take out a little kircha or little atom from that, and now it does not reduce. So that is why spirituality is completely different. We have material examples, but we don't have the spiritual examples in the material world unless we hear from Krishna or his representative. It is difficult. That's why it is inconceivable that we are also Satchidananda and Krishna is also Satchidananda. But one is subordinate, one is the boss. So because it is inconceivable by our tiny brains. Just like money, he creates so many, like touchstone, creates so many gold, but it remains unaffected. He creates all the iron into gold, but does it get affected? like one who burn like what you call it, prism, a special prism, and the sun rays come. It does not get affected, but it creates so many light activity of the light in a different way, but it does not get affected. Same thing Krishna, he creates, but it's not that he reduces or he is changed. And Bhagavad Gita also these things are talked about, that I am different. Although I am saying by me, all this comes from me, but I am not in them. I am not one of them. So, and for ordinary person, if he is all these things is he, then how he is different? He is not in them. So those are it is, but it is yes, it could be described, but only by few people who have understanding of this. It is not a common sense thing. That's why it is achintya. So let us discuss on some other time, or maybe if you want to talk, then you can speak on that.
No, really, we wanted to hear from you. Just one thought came to my mind, because anybody who asks what is achintya, because everything which you describe, it is within achinta, which can be explained, then it cannot be called achintya. That's why the question came. One thing comes to my mind, that when Mother Yashoda is trying to bind Krishna, so Krishna appears as one of us, you know, like a human child. So in that way, oneness is there. Krishna is just like one of us, anybody. But when she tries to bind, Krishna manifests, being unmanifest, even within his apparently limited.
In the lap of the mother, his clay could not be bound. Yeah.
So no matter how much we explain difference and non-difference, only by Krishna's causeless mercy, he demonstrates this in his Leela. So if Krishna did not manifest his Leela, we will never get any example of this inconceivably one and different. Krishna demonstrates only through Leela. That which we cannot.
Also, you are able to describe this by his mercy, so only a few people could so it does not, for you it is not achintya, because he is the Supreme Lord and he is not one like us. So you are yourself are differentiating. So where it remains achintya. Achintya is just for common people who are not devotees. It is inconceivable. Even for us also. Many things are there. It is not really conceivable. Anyway, let us, means you gave a very nice example. I appreciate that. There are many examples are there that can be cited. But
you have in a collection one book like Vaishnava Siddhanta Mala.
No, I don't have that.
Bhaktivinoda Thakur. In that, Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives one point. He says that when seen from the jiva's point of view, the difference between the two is eternal. But from Bhagwan's point of view, the non-difference is eternal. Therefore, the difference means Bheda and non-difference Abheda between the individual soul and the Lord are both simultaneously eternal and true. Then somebody asks the question, how can we understand this mutually contradictory conclusion? Then Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, by the Lord's inconceivable potency, Achintya Shakti, all contradictory truths can be perfectly
right.
And exist in complete harmony. However, the tiny jivas, as you said, who possess very limited intelligence, think that such things are impossible.
Right. Okay, let us discuss detail next time. Okay, I understand what you are saying. Why it is necessary? Why this philosophy? What is this philosophy? Because we are all following this Achintya Veda Tattva, rather than Advaita, Visishta Advaita, Dvaita. So we are following this, and we should understand, have a more discussion on this topic.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Maharaj.
So Prabhuji, couple of points. You quoted that sloka, Akashat Patitam Toyam Yatha Gacchati Sagara.
Sarvodeva Namaskara, Keshvam Prati Gacchati.
So Namaskaram, definitely, or the puja, they all go to Krishna. There's no doubt. But Krishna says, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhureva. But the worshipper does not go to Krishna. That's why Krishna says, Yanti deva vrata deva. the worshippers of Devtas go to Devtas, but the worship goes to Krishna, because Krishna says, Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhukta cha prabhureva cha. This is also further explained in Bhagavatam in 10th canto 40th chapter, where similar analogy is given. Because Krishna alone is the bhukta. So even demigods or any other worshippers, the worship or the bhoga goes to Krishna, because he alone is the bhukta. But the worshipper goes wherever his intention is, where he puts his faith in, like that. That's very. And one thing I wanted to share what the Bhakti Charu Maharaj explained when I was in Surat, regarding this human form of life. The material world is compared to like a 14 layer building, 14 bhavan.
Mm-hmm.
And you explained that it's difficult for Devatas, and so he gave this analogy that if one wants to evict the house or wants to get out of this 14-story building, which has seven floors underground and 7 up,
Mm-hmm.
So whichever floor they might be, the easiest way is to come to the ground floor. So this human form or this earthly planet is like a ground floor, easy to exit from this building. Others may be more trapped and maybe more restricted like that. So that was
okay.
Right. But Charu Maharaj explained very, very elaborately this point.
Okay. But Prabhu, in your analogy, that feeding demigods or नमस्कार केशव के पास जाता है, यदि आप मटेरियली यदि देखेंगे कि आपको मैंने खाना खिलाया and I made you enjoy, does not that Krishna become happy just by feeding you? वो लेते हैं कुछ ब्राह्मण और वैष्णव के लिए, but not that by doing any like आप देवताओं को नमस्कार करते जाइए and Krishna may not take it. You are doing it to get some reciprocal, कि वो आपको बूंद देंगे, तो आपने उनको दिया, उन्होंने आपको कुछ वरदान दे दिया and matter is finished. वहाँ कृष्णा इक्वेशन में कहाँ से आ गए? आपने इंद्र की पूजा की, कृष्णा स्टॉप्ड इंद्र पूजा. यदि उन्हीं के पास जाता, यदि भोक्ता रहते, why we would have stopped? All this nonsense thing that we are doing by worshipping certain human being does not mean that Krishna is the benefactor of all this in one sense. यदि वैसा देखा जाए तो आपने रेस्पेक्ट किया और भगवान ही लेते हैं, पर भगवान ये सब नहीं लेते. और हम इसे को यदि ज़्यादा बढ़ाते जाएंगे तो we will be really in ignorance. Oh, I am satisfying God. Krishna is being satisfied by my paying obeisances. आप दंडवत प्रणाम कर रहे हैं किसी डेमीगॉड के आगे और भगवान may not even watch it. He may not take it. Ultimately it may go, but that is not the thing. आप किसी को ब्राइब देते रहिए, वो भी भगवान के राजा के ट्रेजरी के ब्राइब, वो भी उन्हीं के पास अल्टीमेटली जाएगी. वो इस तरह से सोचना would lead to chaotic condition at the end. So we should be very careful in teaching these things, that how it goes to him. नमस्कार किया और भगवान के प्रति चला गया. किसी को खिला दिया एक गरीब को, भगवान के प्रति चला गया. वो एक जीव वहाँ परमात्मा है, पर सेटिस्फाइंग परमात्मा एंड सेटिस्फाइंग कृष्णा is completely different. So those are really high points. I think we should really give time for general people who may have so many important questions, rather than just on one point we may stuck and we may spend so much time without considering other people what they may have to say, or they have a very simple question and we may talk on these high topics for long period of time with no result to the common people. कई बहुत सारे आते हैं ऐसे संस्कृत के स्कॉलर, दे में टाक पर उनके सिर के ऊपर चढ़ जाता है वो. So we should stay, like आपने कहा अर्थ में, तो we should stay what is problem with the common people, how they could come to Krishna consciousness. Then Krishna will teach them everything from within. ददामि बुद्धि योगम तम येन माम उपयन्ति ते. तो हमें उन चीजों के बारे में ज्यादा देखना है जिससे सब कॉमन लोगों का भला हो, बजाय कि हम एकदम हाई फिलॉसफी उसी पर we just go on talking and it won't really serve the common cause.
We will discuss later, definitely.
Yeah, that we can discuss. You could call me separately, we can discuss, or even with everybody, but when that topic comes. So please let others, if they have anything, let us just talk, and that might be more beneficial to more common people rather than just some talks on some philosopher. क्योंकि एक फिलोसोफर दूसरे फिलोसोफर को हरा देगा, तो और वो अपना पोजीशन जमाएगा. And that does not lead to anywhere.
हमारा आधार तो भगवत गीता है प्रभु जी, भगवत गीता एंड भागवत।
ओके, नहीं ठीक है वो।
भगवत गीता में भगवान ही कहते हैं कि बिकॉज दे कंसिडर डेमीगॉड्स आर गॉड, सो दे विल गो टू देम, जहाँ उनकी निष्ठा है, बट आई एम द भोक्ता, like that.
So why not to do directly? Our teaching should be please Krishna directly, serve Krishna directly. Don't go through direct हाथ में मुंह में डायरेक्ट खाना खाओ, तो गर्दन के पीछे घुमा करके मुंह में मत डालो या किसी भी होल में मत डालो। किसी भी होल में डालने से आपका पेट नहीं भरेगा। There are 10 holes. अब नाक में डालो, कान में डालो, वो एक ही होल है, इसलिए it's all going satisfying. It doesn't satisfy that way. So direct worship is
Prabhuji, can we stop this and have some other devotee ask the question?
That's what I was telling also, Mataji. I agree with you. Okay.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Guru Maharaj, thank you. Dandavat Pranam. This is
Pranam, Prabhuji. Prabhu, I will call you. We have to make arrangement for the next weekend, okay?
Yeah.
Not this coming weekend, but following that.
Yeah,
so
September 15th. Yeah.
I will call you. But thank you for coming and dining.
I have a question.
Sure, Prabhu. Go ahead.
Why we need to understand the philosophy if we agree that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead and we need to go back to the Godhead by worshipping Him, then all these is it still needed to understand Chinta Bheda Bheda and all these different philosophies?
No, it's a good question. Really, there is no need to go in much more depth. आप simple mind से जिनका कुछ इस तरफ, पर जो आदमी पढ़ लिख करके ज़्यादा मतलब spirituality, I'm not talking about material education. Sometimes they debate on these things, which is not really the topic or to go back home, back to Godhead. Simple विश्वास जैसे ग्वालिनों का रहता था कि कृष्णा I should worship, I should think of him, I should serve him. So without thinking of their own self, then that is much faster, much easier. और ये जो topics जो हैं discussion के ये philosophical discussion, that does not lead to anywhere and does not give us Krishna consciousness either. Simple faith that Krishna, by serving Krishna, all the requirement would be fulfilled, materially and spiritually. So why not to take that path rather than taking the path of all this discussion with no result at all, and we may just fall down by just discussing and putting each other down. तो वो कोई ज़्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है. आपका कहना बिल्कुल सही है. आपका क्वेश्चन इज वेरी appropriate and I appreciate that.
Thank you.
उससे भगवान के प्रति ज़्यादा प्रेम नहीं बढ़ेगा. एक शुद्ध प्रेम से एक कोई भी जैसे पत्नी पति की सेवा करता है रिवर्स, इट इज मच ईजियर रादर देन थिंकिंग ऐसा करने से ऐसा होगा, ये होगा, और होता ज़्यादा कुछ नहीं है. इससे भगवान की प्रसन्नता इन तरह के डिस्कशन से नहीं बढ़ती. बट प्रभुपाद केम एंड ही गिव दिस फिलॉसफी, जस्ट यू चांट, डांस, टेक प्रसाद एंड बी हैप्पी एंड गो टू द स्पिरिचुअल किंगडम. Just follow certain rules and regulations, and that's much easier for everybody rather than this talks. उससे कोई ज़्यादा हम लोगों को भगवान के नज़दीक जाएंगे ऐसा नहीं है. इन्हीं गिने लोगों के लिए दे में गो ऑन डिस्कसिंग, पर वो तो हमें तो नंद का, हमें ये सब फिलॉसफी नहीं चाहिए. हमें तो जहाँ धेनु चराने वाले भगवान के बारे में जो गौ को चराते हैं और गोपियों के साथ खेलते हैं, गोपों के साथ खेलते हैं, उनका हम स्मरण करें. दैट इज मच बेटर. कैसे उनको हाथ में जाएगा हाथ जोड़ने से, ये जानना कोई जरूरी नहीं है.
Thank you, Guru Maharaj, for explaining it here.
Thank you. So anyone else has anything to discuss, any comments or any?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam, August Srila Prabhupada. Very, very wonderful class, Prabhuji, and very lot of information. So Prabhuji, the worshippers of Lord Shiva, they say like Shiva drinks soma rasa, so it's okay to drink alcohol like that. So what to say about that, Prabhuji? Okay.
One thing, Shiva does not drink Somarasa. Somrasa is drunk by other, like some demigod, but Varuni, Balramji drank that. That is some special nectar. But he drank all the poison that we know, which came out of churning the milk ocean. सबसे पहले poison आया halal wish. He drank and kept in the throat. But we cannot follow whatever all these are doing. It is not meant for us to follow. They are the Supreme Lord. Krishna lifted Govardhan Hill. Can anybody who claims themselves to a God can lift that? Ask them. That is the first test Prabhupada say. Ask them to lift a Govardhan. Just one big mountain. Can they lift that? So why we should unnecessarily go on their footsteps? तो हम क्या भगवान बनना चाहते हैं क्या? उनके सेवक बनो, उनको then satisfy him by your seva, not by imitating them. उससे क्या भगवान बन जाएंगे? तो ये लोग जो imitating कर रहे हैं, imitating of Lord Shiva by drinking ganja, bhang, afim, charas, whatever that they take in smoking, it's all nonsense. He gave shelter to these people, to the lower people, but that does not mean that they should just try to become Lord Shiva. They want to become by imitating them. Now we are doing the same thing. Many people, they try to imitate. Oh, he had a Ras dance with thousands of girls, so let me have a Ras dance with few of them. It's completely nonsense thinking. He is the Supreme Lord. He could do anything. We are a tiny part and parcel, and we should do what he advises us. Like what he says, that you manmana bhav mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru. You think of him, you pay obeisances, you do his yajan as a deity form, and you pay your obeisances to him. What is the difficulty? But we try to become God by having some dance, and that is not really proper.
Yes, Prabhuji.
सिंपल हार्ट वाले जल्दी से भगवान के पास चले जाते हैं, और कॉम्प्लिकेटेड हार्ट वालों को बहुत प्रॉब्लम होती है.
Yes, Prabhuji, very true. Anybody else has any question?
Are there any more questions for
I think seems like everybody's gone. So anyway, it's long, but thank you for giving me opportunity.
Prabhuji, very
Not gone. They are listening, but still they might not have questions.
Any questions? Okay.
Yeah.
I appreciate us coming together. Yes.
One Mataji wants to ask, please.
Dandavat Maharaj, like you mentioned about following and imitating. So I think there is a very fine line, right, when imitating and following. Could you please explain on how not to follow and imitate, the difference between that?
Follow means to follow the instruction, like Krishna gave instruction to follow through Arjun. And imitating means trying to become God-like, acting like God. So there is a vast difference. Following means follow. मुझे दूध दीजिए, मेरे कपड़े धो दीजिए, मेरा आयरन कर दीजिए. That is that yes, you follow the order. Or imitating मतलब you become God-like. You act like God. So there is not just fine line, but there is a vast difference if you understand between these two. Okay. Follow means follow order. Imitate means you try to act like what they acted, which we cannot. We are tiny soul. How we could imitate the Supreme Lord? But we could follow. He says, you offer me obeisances. We could all offer obeisances. You feed me. You worship me. You think of him.
Like when we are following our superiors, like our seniors who are there. So
yeah. That is following.
We are following, right? We are not imitating.
Yes. No.
Okay. Thank you, Maharaj. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're welcome. Okay, thank you.
Hare Krishna. Anybody else has any question? Thank you so much, Prabhuji.
Okay.
If no one
Thank you. Thanks to everyone for joining and spending their time discussing about Bhagavad Dharma, which is very important. Thanks for all.
Yeah. With your obeisances to all the Vaishnavas, one can pass into the way,